Hello and welcome to Anatomy of Us, a show dedicated to bringing real help to real couples. I'm your host, Melanie Studley.
What's up, guys? My name is Seth Studley. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist, and together we are high-performance marriage coaches.
We are cutting through the bullcrap and creating a movement of happy, healthy, badass couples all over the world.
Let's go! What's up, guys? Today's episode is brought to you by Badass Husband Mastermind. Go to badasshusband.com to get more information, but let me tell you a little bit about it. Guys, who is in your corner? Like literally, who is in your corner? Who's your accountability? Who's your backup? Who's your encouragement? Who is going to kick your ass when you need it? We all need ass kicking sometimes, and it does feel really good to kick other people's ass in a good way. We focus on 5 key areas: body, brain, beliefs, bank, and board. That covers all of who you are as a human. And guys, if you want to level up, women, if you're listening to this and you want your husband to level up, get him in this group right now. There's nowhere to run, nowhere to hide, and there's everywhere to have high accountability, high encouragement, and we set goals and we get stuff done. So go to badasshusband.com right now, get in this group. I promise you, you will love it. It will change your life.
This episode contains explicit language that is not very good for tiny ears. So if you're with your kids, put your headphones on. Take it away, Mom and Dad. It's time for the show. Let's go.
High five. Hello and welcome to Anatomy of Sex. I'm your host, Melanie Studley.
Guys, my name is Seth. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist. Thank you. This is a Patreon episode, a free episode. If you want more of this, go to patreon.com/Anatomy of Us.
What? Okay. Why did you
Is
make
it that?
Yeah. Yes. Anyway, sorry about that awkward intro. My husband has never podcasted before.
I've podcasted for 500 plus episodes, B.
Anyway, so today we're going to talk about something that came up in the men's retreat. And we didn't get to talk about it at the men's retreat, but it was like...
Wait a minute. How did it come up and we didn't talk about it?
Because we didn't get... Okay, so it's... someone talked about it whose name rhymes with grasshopper. And they said that they needed to make their wife orgasm every time they had sex.
Oh,
and
this is
I wanted to talk about
interesting.
it, and it was like... He brought it up, and then I was in the middle of we were doing the sex and intimacy talk, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I have to talk about that." And then this thing happened, and then we didn't end up talking about it, and I was frustrated that we didn't talk about it.
Okay, first of all, can I say something?
Yeah.
What's up? We just came from an amazing weekend. What weekend, Seth? The first ever Badass Husbands live event. Live event. Go to badasshusband.com for more information. It was a blast. We went whitewater rafting. There was a lot of teaching about purpose and getting shit done and doing hard shit, becoming a badass husband. And this lady came in and talked about sex, and every guy there loved it because it was so informative. So, badasshusband.com, if you think you got what it takes to join the group, let's do it. I'll get on a call with you, fill out the application, and we'll go from there. So, thank you, by the way, for coming to that. I told the dudes when I invited you to come and speak at it, I was like, I don't know what Melanie is going to speak on, but I am certain and have full confidence that you will do an awesome job and add great value. Was I wrong? No.
Of
I was
course
100%
you weren't
correct.
wrong. Yeah,
What are you doing?
Your microphone was like pulling really crazy.
Okay, so this is a great topic, which I have a lot of thoughts on.
So, and I do want to just really reiterate that the men's mastermind is awesome. Badass Husbands Mastermind. Join it. It will kick your ass. It'll get you in high gear. It'll get you cooking with seal oil. And you'll love every minute of it. But the men's retreat was super rad. I hung out there a bunch after I did my talk. But this comment came up in the middle of the talk by someone whose name rhymes with...
Grasshopper.
And I don't know why I think that's funny. But he said something along the lines of that it's a goal of his to get his wife to orgasm every time they have sex. And I immediately recoiled. I didn't say that. I didn't show him that, but...
Guess what?
What?
It's my goal too. That's how guys think.
Okay. Guys shouldn't think that way.
Tell us why.
Unless their wife has said, every time we have sex, I want to orgasm. If your wife hasn't said that to you, do not assume that that's her goal.
You say that every time. I'm just kidding.
So
you
don't.
go,
I want to be with you. And then I say, I want... Is that kid coming in the door? That scared me. You saw the fear flash
right before you say,
my eyes.
you look at me and say, you better make me orgasm. Fine, but I better go.
You want to be with me? Okay, here's the deal.
I better be yelling and hooping and hollering. If not,
I better not be able to feel my toes by the end of this interaction. I mean, otherwise, get out. Is that what happens? But for real,
Right.
I think that a lot of men have this idea in their head, and women don't work that way. And again, unless your wife has said, by whatever means necessary, you better make me orgasm.
Right.
It's not necessarily what she is after or even is thinking of. Now, again, if you've got a wife who states it clearly and says, no, I want to orgasm every single time, that's a different conversation.
Mm-hmm.
So let me actually break this into a couple different sections
I have
here.
a lot of thoughts here.
Right. So the first thought is, again, to ask your wife. Like literally, if you're driving a car, stop it, pull over, park, send your wife a text along with the link to this episode and be like, hey, Melanie's asking me to send you a text about our sex life. Melanie wants to know, do you want to orgasm every single time we have sex? Yes or no? And if the answer is yes, how long is the length of time in which I am to work at making this goal happen? Is it 10 minutes, 10 hours? What's the time frame?
Okay, how about this? Proof is in the pudding.
The pudding?
Melanie Dawn Riker Pernille Filio Studley.
Gosh, using all my names.
All your names. It's not Paloma. In fact, we went to dinner one night and there was an actual drink called the Paloma. I was like, what? That's a drink?
That was
But
funny.
anyway, do you want to orgasm every time?
Not necessarily, no.
Okay. Using not necessarily leaves it open for dudes' minds to go haywire. So
let me use an example, a recent intercourse example. Intercourse interaction.
yes.
The last time that we made love, I did not orgasm
Right.
and knew that I wasn't going to be able to
Mm-hmm.
and knew that I didn't care.
Mm,
And I invited you into the bed.
that's right.
Do you recall?
No, which one are you talking about? It was yesterday.
So, no,
Yes.
be aware of that.
Yes.
I said, this is something I think that Seth would enjoy. I could get down with this for...
It was so great. I was telling the
Now-
other dudes, I was like, that was medicine. I can't even. It was the best.
Seth can't even, y'all. I can't even. I think of baddie hands, like your nails. But anyway, so why I'm saying that again is I knew I wasn't going to orgasm. I didn't care. That wasn't my objective.
Right.
My objective literally was to help you feel good and loved before you left for work. That was the only goal. It's 87 degrees up in this mug. Don't touch me. So had you been like, I need to make my wife orgasm,
Right.
it would have been a no-go. Like it would have not worked.
A lot of guys, sometimes me included, like think about other stuff so we won't go because we're waiting on you to go.
I would challenge you to communicate that differently.
No, I know that is not because, and I would even, this would be a great men's group discussion.
You know when you're thinking of other stuff so you don't go so your wife can orgasm? Sorry, I thought it was funny.
No, man, so this can be like a part 1,000, right? It could be. It's very nuanced. And because guys want to, like, again, I will run all day if I know that I'm doing a good job, right? So I feel that sex with you is like we accomplish something if you also orgasm, right? Oh, she felt good. That was a good thing. Okay, rather than me just going and then it just being over.
Gross. Yeah, I'm listening.
Gross nothing. You've made that sound 1,000 times.
What?
Yes.
That? That sound?
Your face is so funny when you do that. Yeah, because, and so I would say to Grasshopper and myself, hey, man, if you're thinking about her orgasm, you are robbing your own self of connection and pleasure and not in the moment, right?
You're robbing her also
I know.
of all of those things.
Both people. And so this happened, and I don't care. We talk about whatever. So we were, doing it one night. We both had orgasms, right? And it was just amazing. And is there a kid listening to this show right now?
I don't think so.
And we were both just laying there afterwards. And, sometimes we're like, hey, let's go again, right?
Mhm.
And we started going again. And I knew there was no way in H that I was going to have an orgasm,
Mhm.
right? Just like, I just wasn't, right? But we were still going and stuff. And I think you did. And then I remember, I'm like, oh, I had because I didn't go again, right? I had no feelings of, oh, well, I have to perform or whatnot. And it gave me the most clear insight. And this was only like, no joke, 4 months ago. It gave me the most clear insight of like, I bet that's how you feel sometimes when you're like, yeah, I'm not going to have an orgasm. I'm just enjoying this.
Right.
And I'm like, holy shit. I have never, ever felt it that way, experienced that way, or even thought about it that way. And it made me not feel, and guys, holler if you feel this, it made me not feel as guilty as you like not having an orgasm and me going. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh, wait, we were just there, like very connected, very pleasurable, and I didn't go. I did before, but I didn't go like a second time. I'm like, is that how you think about sex? Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
Well, and it's not, I mean, again, this is broad generalization, so it's not like this for every person or every woman or anything like that, but there are many, 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 probably most women who are that way. Like there are sometimes when you want to have an orgasm and you know that you're not going to be able to.
Right.
Like no matter, I mean, it's just like, this isn't even it's not worth it because I know that I won't be able to get there. So
But
I would rather just enjoy it.
It's you're not saying that it's not worth having sex. No. You're saying it's not worth like
focusing only on the orgasm.
Only on that. Let me just like sit here. In fact, I mean that's obviously or honestly a sexual meditation practice that would get you closer to it. Anyway, you know what I'm saying? So, okay, so you're saying most women, well, I don't know if most women say like, okay, the women that enjoy sex go, just enjoy it. I don't have to have an orgasm every single time. When it happens, it's great. It's connecting. It's all this stuff. But I don't see it as a failure, a letdown, whatever, if I don't.
Right. So it's like sex is more than just orgasm, which we know that.
Right.
But that's kind of what we're saying. Right. And it would be like, so what, the thing that keeps coming into my mind that I want to use this sort of analogy to, or of, is that it's similar to being like, we're out at this fun restaurant. Let's say, where did we go in Bellevue for the men's retreat? We went to the something
Tavern
house.
Hall or something.
Tavern Hall. So let's say we go to Tavern Hall and it's really fun. We're having a really good time. We're playing the shuffleboard thing, the like German shuffleboard, whatever. We're having a great time. We're doing all the things. Drinking
wine was flowing like the salmon and Capistrano. It was great.
What? Drinking.
Where the beer flowed like wine.
A Ramos gin fizz, like all the things. And then the dessert menu comes out. And my favorite dessert is raspberry mousse, let's just say. And you're like, oh, she just loves raspberry mousse. I bet it's on this menu and I'm going to get the best raspberry mousse for her. She's going to love it. But then it's not on the menu. It would be like you being frustrated for the rest of the night because raspberry mousse wasn't on the menu and you knew I liked that. But I'm like, Seth, it's fine. They have a lemon bar. They have peach cobbler. Like, I'm totally fine. These other things are great. Are they raspberry mousse?
And
no.
believing you, right? Yes. A lot of guys go, was that good or whatnot? Oh, no, it's fine. Like a lot of a lot of husbands don't believe their wives based on maybe one or two things that she said in the past. And this goes both ways, right? But I had to come to the realization of like, oh, wait a minute. Melanie's pretty straight up. She wouldn't bullshit stuff. Why am I insisting on, oh, great, that wasn't great sex if she didn't have an orgasm? No, if you say it, I'm like, oh, okay, really trust her. And then that just reflects on mostly on me, what I'm thinking. Right. Well, was it good enough? This and this, kind of thing.
Right. So like even in this dessert menu concept, not having raspberry mousse does not discount the entire enjoyableness of everything else.
Right.
The enjoyment of the date is not ruined.
What about the steak? What about the conversation?
Right.
What about the wine?
Right. All of those things still were great. And I still loved them. And they were wonderful. Just because they didn't have raspberry mousse doesn't mean anything was bad.
Right.
Just means it wasn't there. And so this person whose name rhymes with grasshopper, like my earrings keep hitting the microphone and they're metal. Sorry, it just sounds weird in my head. They're from your mom. But if this person is stating without their wife's stating this, that a goal every time they have intercourse with their wife is that she must orgasm. And if that is his mission and it's not connection and pleasure, what do you think could be a potential problem there?
The absence of connection and pleasure?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Right. And that's a lot to take on too. Like sometimes there's this thing, painful orgasm. People have that. Men and women have that, right? So what if that just ended up something we're not talking about, and you're like, okay, I got to make her go, and I'm working it, and just whatever,
That sounds horrific.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. And then you're like, well, okay, I don't know. That may make you would probably make you very uncomfortable, right? And then we're missing out on, like, geez, what if you just said, what? Tell me.
Really fun. No, keep going.
Like, what if you just said, hey, listen, I take pleasure in like having the goods to help you have an orgasm and a really awesome experience. And sometimes that's enough. Mm-hmm. So don't worry about it. Mm-hmm. Don't make it a thing. That would be like a wife saying to a husband, no, hold on. My brain just like took a complete 180 and probably crashed and ran in the ditch.
You were like, I had a motorcycle behind you the other day.
But, so we've talked about the masculine and feminine and how most women like to be protected, cherished, treated like a queen and stuff like that. And me being able to do that feels really great to me because I know it feels so good to you, right? That's like you taking my gift and me like enjoying to give it to you and go, you don't have to. Like, I'm sorry, you bring home money, you do this. Like, I know you're stronger and, you have to go to the door if someone, bad guy was there. I know that, but you don't have to. You don't have to. And I just feel so bad that you have to do that. I feel so bad that, it's, I don't know. Apparently we live in a rough neighborhood and bad guys come to the door all the time. I feel so bad that you have to get up at 2 a.m. and like call the cops and walk downstairs with a baseball bat. Oh, I'd be like, stop ruining this gift that I love to do. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying like all women like, yeah, I'm just on my husband because I love it and never have an orgasm. I'm not saying that. But it would get old pretty quick. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I'm just like, oh, sorry you didn't come and I went so early or whatever. You'd be like, come on, bro. Right.
I agree. That's an excellent way to say it. And there's something that you said a minute ago that really made me think some thoughts. You said you were working it. Like the implication there, it sounded like you were implying that you were doing something to my body to try to make me orgasm, and you said I'm working it, right? To which I responded, that sounds terrible or something like that, right? Uh-huh. Because, okay, I'm going to go back to the dessert analogy because this funny idea popped into my head. So let's say I wanted raspberry mousse, but there's no raspberry mousse there. And now if you don't know what raspberry mousse is, it's at Bakery Nouveau. It comes in this dome, has a jelly disc inside of it. It's like a dome. It's amazing. Mm-hmm. And they don't have it almost anywhere else. But so let's say I'm looking for a raspberry mousse. They don't have it, but you're like, but they do have this like, I don't know what's the opposite of a raspberry mousse.
Pickle
but it's
mousse.
A dessert. No, not a bad dessert. But they've got like
a Queen Amman.
Mile High fudge pie. Like what's that Red Robin? It's the opposite of a mousse from Bakery Nouveau is the Mile High mud pie. That's what it is, right? Why are you laughing?
It's just funny.
Why is it?
It's cute.
Why?
Okay. I found that very cute.
Okay, good. Jeez. So let's say you're like, I know she wants a raspberry mousse, but the only thing they have is a Mile High mud pie. I'm going to work it. And so I literally imagine just like you shoving all this, get 2 Mile High mud pies. Get that.
Right.
Will that ever equate to
you're like a goose.
Ew, getting fed foie gras. Foie gras. That's not what they feed them. That's what they make out of their livers.
Right.
My kid is outside of that door. Go away. Maybe not. But so you're like, okay, well, she really wanted a raspberry mousse, but they don't have that. So I'm just going to like stuff her full of this Mile High mud pie. That'll do it.
Yeah.
Will it?
No.
So the idea that you're going to force this other thing to happen by just like more and more of that, working it with air quotes, that is like the complete wrong idea completely to think of in that context when you're talking about like, and again, unless your wife has stated, I want to orgasm no matter what it takes, then you should stop with the Mile High Mud Pie business.
Hey, that would be great. In fact, if you said that, it's like, hey, let's have sex. I want to have an orgasm. I mean, it's just implied, right? We don't talk about it. But if it was implied, I would be like, hey, you better scram.
Hey, go away. Literally children coming in while we're talking.
Man. That made me think of something else that was hilarious that happened in the men's event.
Bring it back to here. You said it's implied.
Oh, if you said, hey, babe, I want you to make me come tonight. I'd be like, hello. It could take 500 hours. It wouldn't matter. I would go, all right, I'm doing everything.
All you think of is Britney Spears. You got to work, bitch.
Right.
You want a hot buddy?
Well, no, not work it like that.
No,
but
I mean, that music starts playing.
That would be, that would be like mega foreplay, kind of thing. I'd be like, all right.
You would do what it takes.
Anything, you got it kind of thing. So that would actually be awesome. But I have felt, and I know other guys have too, so we're not just calling out one person here. There is a pressure there. There's just a pressure. And sometimes we can turn it into a dance, but other times we turn it into a pressure. Like it's really easy to lose sight of connection and pleasure if we're only focusing on our wife's orgasm. You know what I'm saying? It just really is, because most guys can go quicker, crock pot, teapot, whatever. Crock pot versus microwave kind of thing, right? So if you're like, okay, I'm just going, but I'm like trying to hold back, like that really messes up with your own arousal cycles,
right? Which
is like, okay, I'll just like think about whatever, frogs, or who knows what. It's like, okay, just don't go.
Right.
That's hard to do. And again, that really inhibits connection and pleasure. Have a conversation about this and understand that like my sexual worth, this sexual experience is not based on like you going or not. Again, transparent conversations around that might even be like this, like, I mean, I've never said this, but I've thought it before. I'm like, man, and it's happened before, like, I think just yesterday morning. Like, hey, I would love to hang out tonight. I'd say it like in a way sexier way. And
no, you wouldn't.
Yes, I would. Yes, I would.
Oh, I'm sorry. I would like to be together.
What button should I push? I haven't pushed those in a long time.
Okay, enough. So you'd say it like that.
No, so I'd say it and in a way of like, and I would find it really relaxing. And we can do other stuff too. So it's not just about me. Like I would like to like just live out. And if you read Emily Nagoski, you would know what I'm talking about, like the full arousal cycle. Because what happens a lot of times is like, guys, we get, like, okay, cycle, boom, I could go in 2 seconds. And they're like, oh, well, I don't want to. I'm thinking. And then you go back down. It's like a sleep cycle. We're always talking about sleep cycles, you and I. It's like, hey, one time or sometime soon, or maybe like once every 3 times or whatnot, I'd be like, hey, I want to experience the full nonstop arousal cycle. Okay? And that definitely looks like me coming before you, but that doesn't mean that it's not over. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Which would be super interesting. And if our friend could have a conversation like that, which would be pretty cool, that might change things and let you be like, I wonder, do you ever feel like pressure to like, oh, I have to hurry up and go too?
I have before, but
before he does or at the same time?
Not necessarily, because again, it's almost not that controllable enough. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So it's in a way, it's like I can't have that expectation on myself because I'm not really in control of it in the way that
like men and women are so different. But it's a dance. I like that you said that, and it reminded me of the intimacy retreats, which is happening in Seattle. I think in October. There's 8 spots open. I know that they're full.
8 spots open?
Yeah, only 8 spots.
Oh,
for like one thing.
You meant
probably full by now. But anyway, go to that. It's amazing. Northwest Institute on Intimacy.
NWIOI.com.
That's right.
But yeah, so I don't know. There's just a lot that I wanted to communicate with that when he said that because I've heard men say that before. And I think that having that goal, it would be like, if your wife wants a raspberry mousse, but you're like, well, that's not here, but I'm going to make her enjoy the hell out of this Mile High mud pie. Like, it's not the same thing. And she doesn't want that. And don't work it unless she's asking you to do that. Do not do that. Another thing too, just quickly, was that when I posted that question in the women's group thing, I posted a question about what do men need to know about sex and intimacy, and this is like how the whole
for
conversation
your talk,
for
right.
the talk.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really funny because one lady was like, when we say keep doing that, keep doing that. Like, it was really funny because sometimes you'll be like, oh, that feels really good, keep doing that, and then your husband will like move positions, and you're like, so remember 1 second ago when I said keep doing that thing?
Well, yeah, okay. So sometimes it might be like, I can't, or I'm gonna go. You know what I'm saying?
Say words like that with your mouth,
right?
Instead of just stopping. But anyway, not the point. So
what? So this reminds me of the conversation that we just had in the Anatomy of Sex Patreon group. It's like all this comes down to maturity, the focus being on connection and pleasure and like respect. You know what I'm saying? Like respect, like not being butthurt of like, oh, keep doing that. Hey, I know, but I can't. Like, maybe give me a second and I'll try again, or we could use something else, kind of thing.
Or even saying, if I keep doing that, I will go. Like, you can say that. That might be fine. And she might be okay with that. Like, it's...
Say it all the time.
What? You say that all the time?
We communicate in that way often.
I didn't say you didn't. I'm telling our friends, our best friends, that they can say that to their spouse. Jeez.
Our millions of best friends.
Anyway. But I just wanted to have this conversation because I think there's a lot to kind of think through in this idea of like, I'm going to force you to like Mile High mud pie, even though that's not what you want right now. And again, unless that's something your wife has said it to you explicitly, like every time we are together, you must make me orgasm before you do, then don't necessarily set that as your standard. Again, have a conversation about it though. Like, stop your car right now, text your wife and text your husband or whatever and say, hey, what are the expectations around this? What if I feel like I can't? What do we do then? Like, have a conversation when it's not in the middle of it happening. And then if you've decided like, hey, if I can't, if they don't have, raspberry mousse on the menu, I'm okay having a little bit of Mile High mud pie, but I'm not going to eat the whole thing, and I'm not going to like pretend that it's the best.
Right.
I'm just going to I'm going to enjoy it and be cool with that. And so if that's the case, please also enjoy it and just be cool with that.
In that same vein, I think, and this is for ladies to say to their guys, in a mature, I'm assuming a lot of things. I'm assuming that you guys are focused on connection, on pleasure, on mutual respect, and maturity. Guys, so it is very nice to hear because we think about that, right? I mean, when I say we think about that, it's those mature guys who are focused on their wife's connection and pleasure and all this stuff, right? Not just like, hit it and quit it kind of thing, like super fast. Not those dudes. The dudes who want to grow, who love their wives and respect their wives, they want to hear, like if I say something like, oh man, I'm close or whatnot, you say, it's okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, no, go. And so that is like, oh, it's like permission, but not permission. It's almost like acceptance. Yes. Remember we talked about that too at the men's retreat? Acceptance was huge on the guys' minds. Hey, you accept that my body wants to orgasm and is at this sexual arousal cycle. You're not judging. You're not being like, oh, he's, whatever kind of thing. So, and if that happens every single time, let's talk about that, of course. But certain times, like, hey, sweetie, you got this, or whatever, right? Whatever. No, go. And I mean, usually that's great. It's that encouragement and acceptance is huge. So this is a great topic. I thank you for bringing this up. This is, again, just one of the conversations we had over the Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday weekend at the Badass Husbands men's event. Go to badasshusband.com. So thank you guys so much, and we will talk to you soon. All right. Thank you. Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Anatomy of Us. This podcast is produced by my mom, Melanie Studley, and hosted by my dad, Seth Studley. Our show is edited and published by our producer, Reva Hansen, from Creative Media Support. Special thanks to our Patreon members that get an extra episode every week. Thanks for watching. Love you. Bye.